Thanks, Riaz. Good morning. A woman is recovering in hospital after she somehow got trapped inside a donation bin in Pitt Meadows last night. Police were called to the Meadowtown Shopping Centre at around 10:45 last night. Witnesses say the woman's head was trapped inside the donation bin and she was unresponsive. Firefighters used the jaws of life to remove her from the drop box. Paramedics performed CPR on scene before the woman was taken away by ambulance. Earlier this year, a man in New Westminster had to be rescued after being stuck inside a similar bin. Vancouver police are still searching for suspects connected to a brazen daytime shooting outside of a strip mall. It happened at around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon at Oak Street and King Edward Avenue. A young man was shot and killed in the passenger seat of a white vehicle in the parking lot. Police say the attack appears to have been targeted. They're speaking with a number of witnesses who were in the area. This is the city's 13th homicide of the year.
There were several witnesses to the shooting. Many of them were clearly upset with what they had seen. Because this was a fairly busy area, lots of individuals shopping at the time, there are lots of witnesses. We have taken them by bus to a Vancouver police building for questioning and for statements. There have been no arrests made, and the deceased has not been positively identified.
Police are looking to speak with witnesses who saw a shooting in Burnaby early Sunday morning. A bystander was shot in the leg outside a bowling alley on the Lougheed Highway near the Holdham SkyTrain station. Mounties say a fight broke out over a taxi and a man opened fire in the crowd. RCMP say the suspect left in a dark-colored vehicle and the license plate fell off as the driver hit the curb while speeding away. Saanich police are expected to provide an update later today after a student was believed to have been sexually assaulted by several men on the campus of the University of Victoria on Saturday. Police say the female victim lives on campus and did not sustain significant injuries. Investigators are looking for between 1 and 5 individuals. North Shore Rescue is struggling to keep up with a record number of call-outs this year. So far, they've responded to about 120 calls, which is about 25% more than usual. This past weekend, rescuers had 2 call-outs on the same evening. A South Korean student dressed in only light clothing spent the night under tarps with rescuers before being taken off a Grouse Mountain cliff at first light. Rescue volunteers say hikers need to be more prepared before they set out and have a detailed trip plan in place.
We signed up to do this job and we're happy to be there for our community. But we also just really want to stress to the public that it comes down to educating them on how to prevent these type of calls, because a lot of these are for people that don't have adequate equipment or haven't done the proper research into the hike they're doing.
For a list of 10 essential items to bring on a hike, visit NorthShoreRescue.com. Canadians head to the polls exactly 3 weeks from today. 3 of the main political party leaders are in Toronto this morning, preparing for their 4th debate of the federal election campaign. The focus tonight will be centered around foreign policy. The Monk debate is also expected to touch on the refugee crisis in Syria, as well as Canada's participation in coalition airstrikes against ISIL. Once again, Green Party leader Elizabeth May has not been invited to participate. Organizers of tonight's debate invited leaders whose parties have official status in the House of Commons, which requires at least 12 seats. Photos have been flooding the internet following the rare super blood moon as it lit up the sky last night. This is what the rare astronomical event looks like in the skies over Los Angeles. The event was especially rare because it coincided with a full lunar eclipse. That's when the moon, the Earth, and the sun line up in a way that casts Earth's shadow over the moon. An event like this will not happen again until 2033.
Having both a total lunar eclipse and a supermoon simultaneously is a very rare occurrence. The last time one happened was about 15 years ago, and the subsequent one that's going to be happening is in 2033. So about every 15 to 20 years, we do have both a supermoon and a lunar eclipse.
NASA is expected to make a major announcement about Mars today. Depending on what that information is, it could renew plans to get a manned mission to the red planet. Some sources say the news will point scientists towards previous research indicating there may be proof of water presently flowing there. Water would